So, one of the ways I help people work through their triggers is to help them first go back in time with a history. I usually use something like a genogram. A genogram is a depiction or a description of their family, and it distinctly identifies some of the emotions that went on between, or the nature of the relationship between individuals within the family. And it's good when you're doing a genogram to go back and identify the conflicts between siblings, between the child and the parent, grandparents, and then identifying the roles that everyone played as well. After you do that, then what you want to do next is focus on yourself and identify some of the things that may have happened in your childhood that could have led to a consistent internal interpretation or internal emotional state that comes from the interpretation of those events of your past. So everybody's going to see things a little bit differently. One person will take teasing as bullying, another person will take it as good-natured fun. One person will look at neglect in one way, and others will see it in a positive way. But either way that one views it, that's usually the area in which you want to zero in on. Once that's identified as clearly as possible, then what your next step is to do is to identify the feelings that are around those past events. An example might be if somebody was left at home alone, like in the movie Home Alone, they could have interpreted that as something very positive, like in the case of the movie, but in other cases, they could have felt very abandoned. Now, after doing that, you want to be able to start the process of dealing with it or resolving it. So what I ask people to do oftentimes is get into a quiet place. And once those emotions are clearly identified and the events that surrounded it, you want to be able to open your heart and learn that the experiencing of these feelings is an opportunity for you to open and love yourself through it. So you want to be very gentle with yourself, very sensitive and loving to yourself, like you went through a hard time, and you're not going to condemn yourself or get hard on yourself for the fact that that had occurred. Then the next step would be to go and to take deep breaths as you're experiencing the emotion. When your breathing occurs in a rhythmic fashion, you have to stop the story from continuing. All you're focusing on right now is the sensations that you're feeling and the emotions that go along with it. When you stop the story, you're only focusing on what's occurring in the here and now. Think about it. Your story can repeat itself over and over again and re-trigger the same feelings that you've had for so many years. And if you can stop the story but focus on the feelings and the sensations and continue breathing through, you'll see a diminution of those feelings and sensations. When you get to the place of feeling a lowering of that intensity, then you can begin to tell yourself a new story. So my story is this right here, and I'll read it to you. I was meant to be me today because of all I have gone through to be better and stronger and more spiritually connected to my God, my source of love and life. I'll repeat that. I was meant to be me today because of all that I have gone through in the past to make me better and stronger and more spiritually connected to God, my source of love and life. When you say that as your new story, you're really saying what's happened in the past has an end point, and what I'm feeling right now is a benefit from that past. That strengthens us, that gives us new resolve. So give that some time and some thought. You may have to repeat some of those steps of deep breathing and relaxing and calmly going through the emotions and sensations all over again, but that process of self-love and self-soothing behavior that you're doing with those deep breaths and the iteration of that new story will help you in getting through this a little bit at a time. This is Dr. Bob Montez signing off.